Oh, I'm gonna get copyrighted badly from this film. Alright, let's do this. The date is 2012. A lot of stuff was happening around the 2012. Games, movies, the Old West style, YouTube. Oh, and Barack Obama. 2012 was a goldmine of many things, but on the day of October 12th, 2012, was one of the most spine-chilling movies to come out. And that movie was... Sinister was directed by Scott Derrickson, who also co-wrote and screenplayed with C. Roberts. The movie is also produced by Jason Blum, which, Blumhouse. As the story behind this film was created one night to a trip in Las Vegas. That'll be saved for another video.
Isn't he? And you met through Ain't It Cool News, and this movie kind of came about because of a random trip to Las Vegas, didn't it? Tell me about that.
Yeah, no, it was, we had been friends for a couple of years. He was a fan of my writing. He started writing me. I was a fan of his films, so we started writing back and forth, and we ended up in Vegas on the same weekend, and he discovered over Twitter, so we got together for drinks, and 5 White Russians in, he was like, hey, I've got this idea banging around my head. Can I bounce it off you? I said, yeah, sure, and so he bounced it off me, and I was like, oh, hey, that's a great idea. Let's, and gave him a few ideas on that, and I said, now that you mention it, I have an idea that's been banging around that I'd love to share with you. He's like, all right, hit me. Everybody pitches something to me once. This is your one time. And I pitched him Sinister, and at the end he said, I want to make that movie.
Sinister's story starts with the main protagonist of this movie, Ellison, played by Ethan Hawke, a writer trying to make a comeback from his big success from his first books that talk about police investigations. And the smartest thing our main protagonist does is move in on one of the houses that one of the families recently died. Yeah, real fucking smart there. Now, you could say this is the most ironic thing in horror movies. Talk about less spooky thing and proceeds to go to less spooky thing. It's a thing we see a lot, and trust, as much as I love this film, there are some tropes we see that make this movie bring it down a little bit, but also some parts that really bring it up, which I'll be talking about throughout this video. Also, to know the other cast members before we start talking about the film, we have Fred Dalton, who plays the sheriff. Next is the infamous Mr. Deputy So-and-so, played by James Ransom. Best character in the film, I don't care, shut up. We also have the mother, Tracy, played by Juliet, which she killed in this role, besides, Deputy So-and-so. Peak, by the way. Next is the 2 children, Ashley, played by Claire Foley, and Trevor, played by Michael Hall. We will talk about the rest of the cast as we go forward with the film, but I want to focus on first the main protagonist and his fate being sealed. Ellison starts investigating the missing of one of the children, as each child was missing from each of the family's murderers. And we can already see with Ellison that he is someone who is extremely ambitious, wanting to make that comeback he desperately wants, to the point of even lying to Tracy.
Why was he pointing at the house? Ellison, we didn't move in a few houses down from a crime scene again, did we?
Tracy.
No, just don't say anything. If we did, I don't want to know about it.
That pause just says it all. Kind of makes up for this trope, as I was saying before, how people tend to go to the unknown just for the sake of the horror movie, but I like that our protagonist actually has a reason, which is very dangerous and putting his family at risk, but he still decides to go with it because his ambitions are so high.
Well, there's something you find out relatively early on in the film, and that not all the murders have happened there. And what we tried to inject in the film was we created a reason why the family would stay in the house. Because that's the first thing. Every time you watch this kind of horror movie, you're like, I would have moved by then. You know, once this happened, I'm out of there. And then you don't really sympathize with the family anymore. And the idea here was to create a story that where the person who's discovering these things would have a reason to keep it secret, and would have a reason that you'd believe that he would keep it secret, and that you'd buy into, and that you slowly watch the self-destruction of this character as he tries to maintain that secret. And ultimately, you know, it plays into the typical, not typical, but plays into the kind of family drama that actually creates, and we focus on. And we really want the audience to buy into as much of the family drama of a family member keeping secrets that endanger the family, while also being genuinely scared at the spooky stuff going on.
We all in some way feel ambitious with our work, wanting to get that famous, to be seen, to be heard, to be there with the other artists. And that drive can be a good thing, but it can make you feel a lot of stress and mental decline while keeping yourself grounded.
The similarity. These are two people that are hated online more than loved, and they know that, and they revel in that, because they know if they actually clean up their act and stop basically being failed trolls, their audience will dissipate.
Yes, I just used another Parasonical reference. Shut up. There are parts of the scene that make Ellison feel like they have to make this work. They have to push far because of this.
Kentucky Blood was 10 years ago. And what if that was your 15 minutes?
This part is amazing. A lot of people who are artists or people in general wanting to make it big can really feel this part as so many people wanting to be famous, and they do anything just to make it big, but that thought of knowing you only made it for a few minutes really makes you feel this weight on you, and that I need to do better, I need to make this right, this will work. And you start saying this stuff not just to you, but even to the people that you love. And that's why I really like Ellison's character. He knows what he's doing. He's holding his family and his work together, but only one of them will fall, or both. You can see throughout the film he isolates himself a lot with the dark, even outside of his work. He is so focused on his work that he doesn't focus on taking care of himself and quick talks with his family, just so he can get through right back to the work.
Response? You think that makes it okay?
No, it doesn't make it okay, all right? Nothing about what happened to these people is okay. But bad things happen to good people, and they still need to have their story told. They deserve that much.
Yeah, that's why I'm doing this video. And also keeps looking at the tree where one of the families have died, not just for the investigation, but because he sees his own family there. He wants to keep them safe, but how can he when he already sealed their fates, especially when he finds the tapes? The tapes are a big part of this film, and also our journeys to the unknown, with Ellison watching each of them as the more he investigates, the more he realizes his biggest mistake is that it's too late. I love the tapes so much because I just never seen horror be captured in such an uncomfortable way and a disturbing way, which is what makes this film just so good. And the soundtrack done by Christopher Young, which is one of the best soundtracks ever. Each of the tapes having their own themes, and is the definition of just unnerving. The first tape we have is the family hanging out 11, which we already saw because of the intro. The second tip we have is Barbecue 79, where the family gets burned in a car. The third tip we have is Pool Party 66, and it is the first time we see but we'll get to him a little later because he is really important to the movie, of course. The fourth tape, which is to me the most uncomfortable one, is Sleepy Time 98. I want to talk about this one as I know the other ones are just as disturbing, but this one really made me genuinely uncomfortable. I think when I was first watching this movie as little me, I was always scared and something would pop out. So I was so uncomfortable with the music and the part where each of the family's throats gets slit. But it generally was just the most uncomfortable for me out of all the tapes. They did an amazing job with the soundtrack, an amazing job with each of the tapes. The last tape we have is the most infamous, loved and hated, the Lawn Work 86. This one is loved and hated because really it is just a lawnmower doing its work. That's why some people don't like it. And these are each of the tapes. They are amazing and making the viewers uncomfortable and uneasy, and I love that. And the music is just, you know, icing on the cake. But I know everyone does not like that last one. But going back, let's talk about the final act, and it's the villain. The Bogul, played by Nicholas King, is an ancient deity who consumes the souls of kids and manipulates them to do terrible things. Almost to lure them into a trap, basically. Looking at it more, it does give me huge inspirations from Slenderman, which, I'm not gonna lie, it kinda does make me mad that the Slenderman movie that came out around 2018 really was just terrible, and I wish we got a Slenderman movie that the vibes of Sinister. That movie was just not good. But back to the Bogul. This whole movie, he is this lowering presence for Allison, and I think in some ways controls him. Not that he mostly does it with the kids, but I mean more on a psychological level. We can see Allison is losing his grip and almost being weakened by the Bogul, with drinking and smoking and getting more detached to his family. This is not the Bogul's doing, this is all Ellison, but also the Bogul messing with them so much to make them lose in that sense. Basically, in new gen terms, the Bogul was basically gaslighting the whole movie. But we do start to see the supernatural side of this movie, especially seeing the missing kids, as Ellison is trying his best to hold on to his family and the work, and oh my god, the best character in the movie is back. This is where the movie takes a more safe room type vibes to not just panning out the whole movie, but also just letting Allison relax for a bit. And I really love these little scenes with the deputy so-and-so, and they are really sweet, and he becomes a friend to Allison, with even being the main character in the second film. But that will be saved for another video, because I got some things to say about the second one. Not good things. not good things at all. But okay. Back to the scares now. As we get more into the stress of Allison hitting a breaking point after seeing each of the tapes, and fear of Tracy knowing what's really going on, we get this scene of the missing children in the home. I think it's not a bad part of the film, but it does start playing into making this film lose its credit, and that's with the cheap jump scares. But amazing acting done with all the kids. They did a really great job. Then, like anything that snowballs, there will always be a breaking point. Tracy finally finds out what's going on from Ashley's drawing of the missing kid. And we got this amazing scene that I just want to play out because it is just so good.
And you let our little girl play back there?
Why shouldn't I?
Our son is having night terrors and drawing pictures of this crime at school. Our daughter just painted a little dead girl on our wall.
She's missing. Okay?
What?
She's missing. Technically, she's missing. They don't know
I
if
don't want to hear about technicalities. Do you understand what you've done this time? The kind of jeopardy you put your children in? Your marriage?
Yes, I do! I
Anything
understand!
you won't do for your goddamn book! But writing isn't the meaning of your life. You and me, right here, this marriage, that's the meaning of your life. And your legacy, that's Ashley and Trevor. Your kids are your legacy.
The breaking point reaches for Alice, and we get this theme that has become a icon. Gyroscope was made by the Borders of Canada, a song used from their album, which I cannot say because I'm gonna butcher it super hard, which I feel like I've been doing throughout this video. Which is insane. When I first heard of this song was made in 2002. Just amazing. Please go listen to it. It is just so out of this world. I mean, I may even make a separate video of it just talking about it, how good it is. It is just so good. Ellison finally realizes that he messed up and made a huge mistake. But I like to say in the beginning of the film, he already sealed his fate. And when he goes back home to his own house, just to only see the tapes again, he knows it's too late for him. This whole time, the kids were the ones doing the killings, realizing that Ashley was one of them, but too late. And the cycle continues once more. Sinister to me is amazing, and I think it's still a good film to watch even now, but where it loses its touch a lot is kind of the end to the plot. I think having the kids be the murderers is a cool twist, and how there has no good ending at all, but the jump scares and little loopholes we get makes the film lose its touch a little bit, but also brings it back up lots in its other parts. When I was doing this video and scripting it, I felt like Ellison myself, being stressed with real life stuff going on and trying to make this video good so people can see what I can craft. I felt this urgency to try to make it right, but realizing in the end that it shouldn't be for fame or a sense of making it right, but just enjoying your work in the time you can. And this film in some way helped me get through that idea of just not stressing yourself to trying to be the best. I may have missed some parts, I may have screwed up with this video, but in the end, this is something I still wanted to do for me, to see that I made this and I'm proud of myself for it. And maybe the people who made this film probably felt the same. I think you should watch a good film. If you want to watch it for the cheap jump scares, or a horror nerd like me and loves looking at all the little details, whatever the reason, this video was definitely long to make, and I 100% got copyrighted for it, but nonetheless, I'm happy I still made it. I want to give a big shout out to the person who got me into inspiring to making this video, to do this way back in 2019. Why Sinister is the most scariest movie ever made by, I can't say that name because I don't want to butcher it, and it's real late at night. I'm really tired. That video I watched is what made me get into doing the long form videos, and well, Mr. Pyro himself as well. But it's really good video. Please go check it out. They probably did a way better job explaining the movie compared to me. And I hope you enjoy this video. Please support by liking and subbing. I have a lot of video ideas I want to do, and I hope this show I can talk about films to do. But I hope you have a spooky day. And thank you all for enjoying the video. Jinx out. It's like 3 in the morning. I'm gonna go to bed. Good night.